For our video watchers and the replay later and or the live now, we'll start the radio show in about 5 seconds here live.
Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Woof Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
Down goes Miami of Ohio in men's MAC tourney. Wow. Boilers win, Pacers lose. Big BSU weekend. Women today, and the baseball cranking up too. It'll be windy and cold. And we're ready to go for a big day. Just heard a big ding. I don't know if that was my phone or your phone. My guest here in the Studio B, the Senator, coming in a moment. We'll get to Scott Alexander after we get to our weekend weather from WMUN's Paul Poteet.
Good morning. We've got everything but the locusts in the weather over the next couple of days in east central Indiana. It's a crazy lineup that starts with big breezes today, a high wind warning, gusts up to 55 miles an hour. That goes until 8 p.m. The wind won't really settle down till after about midnight tonight. Our high temperature gets to 54. It could be some light showers in the early morning hours, some sun in the afternoon. Tonight, 31 for the low, mostly cloudy, pretty quiet tomorrow with a high of 47. And then warm air comes roaring back on Sunday, 70, mostly cloudy. Later afternoon, showers and storms. Showers and storms Sunday night could be severe. And then right around daybreak on Monday, the cold front crashes through, and temperatures will steadily go from the mid-30s down to about the upper 20s in the afternoon. And we could have snow showers then on Monday after severe weather Sunday night. And then teens Tuesday morning. Tuesday, high in the 20s, and we start to warm back up to the 40s and 50s again next Wednesday. That's your expanded look at the weather this morning. Now more from Steve.
Don't be hating on Paul Poteet. He's just in production. No, wait, he's in publicity. He's not in production. That's how that line works. My sister Sherry, listening in Portland, Oregon right now, said yesterday at about this time, your weather in Indiana is weird. Mama in Minnesota, Roger listening to, everybody everywhere. We are in Studio B with this man right here, Senator Scott Alexander, with coffee in hand. If I may start with that, thumbs up from you to us. That was one of your big questions about Studio B when you first came in here. We have now solved that problem, and a quote from you, fine sir.
I was going to say, now we are up to all the standards that we can possibly get to in new Studio B.
Well, we're glad to take care of our guests.
I think we're somewhat windproof too in here because
it's a
windy
big tower
outside.
over our head. You hear the wind whipping through those guy wires. We're live with the Senator from the District 26. Scott Alexander is here. His first visit we've had with you since the session ended. Thought it might be good to start with a bit of a review of what transpired. Well, let's talk there first, huh?
Yeah, really good things for the most part coming out of the Senate, and some things that we'll continue to work on.
Squinting your eyes. What's going on there? What's the problem?
Oh,
there?
yeah. Well, I'm looking at little print, and I left my reading glasses.
Hold on a second. Here you go.
Oh, okay. Well, now that's nice. Yeah.
Now, I can't see anything. How are you doing?
Yeah, these are okay.
Okay, now you can review the session. Go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. So I think what's important for listeners to know too is we do work with colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and we were over 90% of our bills were bipartisan bills that we passed, and whittled that down from what we started as 700 and something bills down to 100 and something bills. So definitely not everything gets through. A lot of work goes into the process, and of course this being a short session, the wheels were moving very quickly. and we were able to get some really good things through. And I think I've got a long list here, but I know you've got some specifics that you want to go over. So we may, if we get a chance, we'll come back.
Okay, very good. I would need my glasses back then if we could. We're playing the glasses tag
sharing.
Where are yours, by the way? What happened there?
Well, you corral them from time to time, and I've corralled them and moved them around and ended up with.
You didn't leave them at the State House, did you?
Not well. There are some there. Yeah, some there for sure.
Here's where I would like to start. I'd like to start with Haley's Law. Re-explain to our listeners what that is. What's the status of that legislation, and what's your position on it, Senator Alexander?
Yeah. Where we're at on it, I believe, and I need to double check this. I got your message early this morning and didn't have a chance to double check, but it looks like there was a vehicle bill. The House members were, or the House Speaker was working on that with Representative Jeter, and I think that's House Bill 1303 is where that ended up.
Okay.
So basically, that would allow like an amber alert, a pink alert. Mm-hmm. To be able to speed up that process there. That was kind of moving at the speed of life as that was developing during our session. They were working on the House side. Speaker Houston especially was.
Let me remind our listeners, this one was inspired by the case of 17-year-old Haley Busby, who was killed after being groomed on an online gaming platform. And the pink alert system is a way, if it is passed and put into effect, if I understand, Senator, to be another layer and level to get law enforcement and the public specifically more activated more quickly. Am I saying that right? Is that the intent of it?
Yeah, there's a gap. There's a gap in the law that allows for some time to go by there that we're trying to correct in the short session, and the Speaker's work on that is to be able to put that into a bill during session after those timelines have survived.
What do you think was the difficulty of it to be put through quickly? I know things take time, but what do you think were the difficulties for that one?
Yeah, I think just the not really difficulties, just the process. The process is already set in a way that, so this had to be a vehicle bill that the speaker and the pro tem on our side have the opportunity to put legislation into a vehicle during the process, and that's how this one went.
Okay. Indiana Senator Scott Alexander, our guest in Studio B, with coffee in hand. He is much happier this time than last time he was here. Look at that smile on his face on the video replay. Next item this morning, this is inspired by a listener question. AES, this used to be known as Indianapolis Power and Light. They announced earlier this month that they've agreed to be purchased by BlackRock, a group of large domestic and foreign investors, and it could go private as soon as this year. That news prompted some alarm from some Hoosier leaders. What is your take on this, Senator?
Yeah, I think AES had been probably one of the most, complained about utilities of last year. The utility prices are going up. People are feeling that in their homes. And we passed a bill, it was actually a House bill, but through our Electric Committee's House Bill 1002. So that was basically changing the way that rate making works. Okay. So since 1913, it's been done.
Say that year again?
1913.
Okay.
It's been done one way, and this is going to be performance-based rate making. Should lay the platform to be able to go back next year and start to really work on utilities. The utilities aren't happy with it, but already we've seen Indiana, Michigan, which is in our area, come out and ask the IURC for a reduction in rate. And I think this will spur the other utilities to realize that this is an issue that they need to correct, and if they don't, we will.
Staying on power for just a second while we're on the subject, Governor Braun has talked about the notion of data centers, which are known to be big power users. It's also something that the state of Indiana and some other states too across our country have been advocating for, some more strongly than others, getting them to move to their state. But there is that effect or potential effect. But the governor had said, I think it was last week, that he was very much advocating for those data centers to produce and be responsible for their own power. What is your take on that particular notion, sir?
Yeah, I think the data centers are something that, the jury's kind of been out on them for a while now. They're going to happen. They are happening in Indiana, so we'll be able to watch as they go online. But they do require a lot of power, and that's AEP and another leader is working up in northern Indiana on several. There were 3 already approved, probably the first 3 in Indiana. The result of this is the electric that they would use would double what I&M's current usage is. So they've got to come up with a way to get there, and I think that goes into the whole energy discussion of how we get there with the small nuclear
stations,
stations,
sure,
and some larger versions. We know that technology's safe because it's been running since the 70s up in Michigan, that supplies northern Indiana with a lot of power up there too, and so that's trying to push that forward with the federal guidelines on getting these power users online would work out well with the data centers because they're they're smaller, they're on site, than versus the trying to find it with solar and wind we're just not going to get there.
Senator Scott Alexander, our guest, Delaware County Today, WMUN. Pages at the State House. You sent out a release recently. I think there was 3 or so that you were citing as being helpful to you.
Yeah, 3 of the most recent that we had down at the State House. So they come down for the day, learn a lot about the State House. They'll meet their legislators and be on the Senate floor if they're Senate pages, be on the House floor if they're House pages. And that also, so for next year, we encourage our local schools to get involved and send us some pages down, but also the internships. I want to point out the internships that are available as well down at the State House are really great. I mean, they can put you in contact with people in whatever field that you think you're going to go into, and we've got some really good representatives from East Central Indiana down there through Ball State and some of the other schools around in Indiana.
About a minute or 2 left in our segment, Senator. I would like to go through some of those items that maybe we haven't covered so far that are sort of a session review items. Why don't you go in that direction now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we talked about last time, or the most important thing, was the immigration bill. Through a lot of work over the last 18, maybe 19 months now. A lot of work on both the House side and the Senate side. Definitely give a shout out to J.D. Prescott and his work on that. That was originally a House bill, became a Senate bill. Liz Brown, Cindy Carrasco, our head of our Judiciary Committee, that worked hard on that to get that through on our side, and then also on the House side, the Attorney General's office, the Governor's office, got us to a really good place on that. So that passed. Sheriff's Department, the Sheriff's Association just came out and strongly in support of that. The vaping bill that we passed that will be so anti-vaping over, you must be 21 to be able to purchase tobacco products. That'll kick in on July 1st and be helpful for our area schools that are dealing with that problem every day there. So those are some of the good things that came out. I could go on and on, but I know our time.
Is there anything that didn't go through that you wished would have in this short session that just wrapped up here?
Well, I think there was a lot of things that didn't go through that I'm glad didn't go through.
Okay.
I think we were able to stop some things and fight some things. The citing, there was a bill that was pretty controversial on citing energy. I think that was House Bill 1333 that we were able to get, but a lot of other legislation. So I think one of the most important things that really people don't know about is the legislation that that doesn't make it or doesn't get through.
Right.
Usually a reason for that, and sometimes it needs more work. Sometimes it's not something that we want to go forward. So.
Last quick item, constituent services. You're always very, very kind to allow people to reach out. Oftentimes you give your cell phone number. Tell them how to reach out to Senator Scott Alexander.
Yeah, it's easy. If you do a Google search, I come up first because on the Senate side because of my name being Alexander. So it's I'm number one, so I probably get the most complaints, I guess.
Oh, great.
By being there. But Kirsten, my legislative assistant, I get so many compliments of her at the Senate office number or email in there. And then, as always, my cell phone is 765-748-4888. You can call me, text me directly. A lot of input from constituents this time around to help shape the session, the short session.
It's all this radio coverage you're
That might
getting from
be.
WMUN. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Senator, thanks very much for the time. Enjoy the rest of your coffee and your day.
You bet. Have a good day.
Senator Scott Alexander, more in a moment on WMUN.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and
Hey, it's Jonas Knox, and are you into video games, celebrities, or just having a good time? Then you need to get familiar with the Global Gaming League. The Global Gaming League is a new video game league with celebrity-owned teams from Howie Mandel to Flavor Flav to T-Pain, competing across everything from Call of Duty to Pac-Man. So, if you want to watch your favorite celebrities battle it out, or if you play games yourself, this is your chance to be part of it. Sign up now at globalgamingleague.com. Everybody games.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
Our first addition to the new WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. National finalists for the NAB Crystal Award. The all-new Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell.
One of our features every day, of course, is the news portion of what we do here every day on WMUN. Bottom of hour, we have a special guest back in our Studio B, and we're looking forward to sharing with you the story of Emmett Till, and more importantly, what will be happening in Muncie over the next few days with a very special speaker and presenter that will be right here for you live on WMUN. Now on to our local news summary. These stories and more are airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana, and now for you on WMUN. Former Highland basketball star Jay Moore saw an MTI Knowledge player with unplayable shoes during warm-ups for a sectional game against Liberty Christian last week at Anderson Prep. He went to his car and got a nearly new pair for the player to change into.
I didn't even take him out the bag. I gave him the bag. I said, walk out of here and change the shoes. You don't got to do it in front of everybody. And then just leave the bag behind you, and I'll come back over here and get it.
That from the Oldies 101 Anderson Journal Morning Show.
Hezbollah is firing into northern Israel after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave his first news conference of the entire war. And in it, he said he still believes that regime change is possible in Iran.
Governor Mike Braun is considering suspending Indiana's gas tax as prices soar due to the conflict with Iran. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith told WMUN's Delaware County Today this week he's always in favor of saving Hoosiers money.
I think giving Hoosiers any type of financial relief right now, any way we can do it is a net positive for the state.
Ball State baseball returns to WMUN for a 3-game weekend series with Eastern Michigan coverage slated for 2:45 today, right after the BSU women's basketball game. Ball State women's basketball in the MAC semifinals. That's in Cleveland. Voice of the Cardinals, Mick Tidrow, told Delaware County Today the team has much to be proud of.
Co-regular season champions, and congratulations to that group for back-to-back regular season titles in Ball State's case, because it's a hard thing to do in today's landscape, Steve. We all know that.
Tip-off today against Toledo is around noon on WMUN. BSU baseball on radio right after that.
Democrats wanted to fund various aspects of DHS piecemeal, TSA, or the Coast Guard as part of a demand that Republicans consider reforms to ICE and Customs and Border Protection. So for the fourth time, the vote to fund DHS has failed. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Herald Bulletin says 700 homes and businesses were without power in Anderson at one point Wednesday during those storms, as reported first by our Brett Busby as the storms were still raging. The music of Harry Potter tomorrow, performed by Orchestra Indiana at 4 and 7:30 p.m. Performances at Muncie Central High School Auditorium. Tickets at the door. All ages are welcome. Hear yesterday's interview with conductor Yaniv Segal on WMUNmuncie.com, or watch it on the YouTube, the channel named Woof Boom Studio B. MCS CEO Chuck Reynolds told WMUN News Radio he'll have an interesting ask at this month's school board meeting.
We're going to ask for an additional appropriations, some more spending on this project. Oddly enough, it's because of the interest that we've earned on the bond money.
Interest from Muncie Central's $19 million renovation project has accrued to the point the school could receive additional funding for Part 2. Quarterback Daniel Jones returns to the Colts on a 2-year, $88 million deal with $50 million fully guaranteed. Recently was on the former Indy punter Pat McAfee's popular talk show.
Fired up to be back, and definitely grateful for the opportunity to be back and here with the Colts. So it's been crazy. You know, the left leg's good. That's all healed. Working on this Achilles, making good progress with the rehab, and it's all good. I'm fired up.
Thousands are expected to flock to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee to help kick off Dollywood's 41st season. Folks may even catch a glimpse of the Queen of Country herself. Dolly Parton is expected to attend opening day and participate in the I Will Always Love You festival. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Delta faces Fort Wayne Blackhawk in a regional tomorrow at Newcastle. Coverage Blake FM, 12:15 p.m. 2 4 p.m. games for other area teams. Oldies 101 will have Lapel against Blackford at Lapel, 3:45 p.m. Liberty Christian battles Greenwood Christian at the same time at Greenfield Central. More local every day on our free woofboomnews.com.
Here in Muncie, we know what it means to show up for one another. We celebrate our wins, big and small. And when times get tough, we lean in, not away. At WMUN, we're more than just a voice on the radio. We are your neighbor, your friend, your connection to what matters most. Every morning, we wake up with you, sharing the stories of our city, highlighting the heroes you don't always hear about, and cheering on the teams that carry our hopes on their shoulders. This isn't just news and sports. This is home. From the streets of downtown to the heart of Delaware County, we're here because you're here. Thanks for letting WMUN be part of your day. We're proud to be your hometown station.
As you know, managing maintenance, repair, and operations is never easy. But for the ones who always rise to the challenge, Grainger has your back. From professional-grade products you can count on to fast, dependable delivery, they're there to help you keep things running smoothly. Plus, their technical product specialists are here to help answer your toughest questions. And because Grainger knows safety is always a priority, they're committed to being your partner in protecting both your people and your facilities. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox, and are you into video games, celebrities, or just having a good time? Then you need to get familiar with the Global Gaming League. The Global Gaming League is a new video game league with celebrity-owned teams from Howie Mandel to Flavor Flav to T-Pain, competing across everything from Call of Duty to Pac-Man. So, if you want to watch your favorite celebrities battle it out, or if you play games yourself, this is your chance to be part of it. Sign up now at globalgamingleague.com. Everybody games.
Listen to Delaware County Today on Alexa. Just enable the skill, then say, Alexa, play WMUN. Now back to Steve Lindell.
And we are inside what we call Studio B, video, audio, and everything in between. And we have guests as well. Very pleased and proud to bring in a new visitor to Muncie and also a resident of Muncie that works at Minnetrista. Bria, we'll get to you in a second. First, Joshua, I'd like you to introduce yourself to our listeners and say hello for the first time on the radio here, if you would.
Well, first, let me say thank you to you for the invitation.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
It's beautiful to be here. I'm loving Muncie so far. You're showing me around. You're showing me a good time. Everybody's been extremely nice, and so I'm excited to be here. My name is, like you said, Joshua Harris Till. I'm here for the Emmett and Mamie Till Mobley Let the World See exhibit that's happening over at the Minnetrista. I'm excited about that exhibition, but I'm even more excited to be able to be there in person and let people, kind of get that familiar experience.
As you walked in this morning, you felt the winds of Muncie, Indiana. You said it made you feel a little like home. You're from
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely. We had a tornado warning, so I turned around and I was like, that's a little loud. Or do we have anything to worry about?
The thing that you were hearing above your head when you're walking in, we have these towers and they have suspension wires. That wind whips through those wires, guy wires, and it makes that noise. It's a little disconcerting. Bria, say hello to everybody and introduce yourself and your function at Minnetrista. Bring that microphone right up to you, if you would. Thanks. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks for having me here today. My name is Bria Cunningham. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Minnetrista Museum and Gardens, and I lead our outreach initiatives also.
Fantastic. And this is just one of the exhibits happening right now at Minnetrista, but this is one of the most important ones to learn from, and a historical thing in our country's history that, it needs to be known. Joshua, if you could take us through cousin of Emmett, I believe is the right way of explaining it, and family lineage here. The situation that you're going to obviously be talking and teaching about, if you could just give us a broad overview of that first.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, one of the ugly moments in history, but one of the important moments of history because it led to so much change. When Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy, he went to the South, Mississippi. They still hadn't, come into the new age of thinking. And so unfortunately, he whistled at a lady. She took extreme offense to that. And unfortunately, what led to his kidnapping and eventual murder is what we saw come from it. And unfortunately, because he was beaten so bad and because his mother made the courageous decision to do an open casket, but also reveal pictures of it, the world was able to see how ugly racism is. And so we talk about that story to let people know, hey, if we don't humanize each other, we'll run into those issues. But also it's important for us to stand up at any moment, at any given point in time, to let people know, hey, this is unacceptable.
This was in August of 1955 when it occurred, and Bria Minnetrista, working with a bunch of partners, has brought this to life in that the learning can happen there. Take us through, if you did, just a little bit of a mental explanation of the exhibit itself at Minnetrista. Could you do that for us?
Sure. One of my favorite things about this exhibition is it's not just panels that you can read. Mm-hmm. You can walk in, you can pick up a telephone and hear a real voice say something.
I saw a picture
right.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see a suitcase with a letter that on top of the suitcase that Emmett had written to his mother that she received after his death. So he had written it before, and by the time she got it, because of how the delay with mailing was, and so it's in his handwriting. You get to see those moments that a kid would write about. Mm-hmm. And you keep walking through the exhibition. There are interactives where you can touch and see pictures. And one of my favorite parts, which I'm not going to spill it all, you have to come watch.
Sure.
But there is a whole video experience where you sit in, there's pictures, there's sounds. You get to immerse yourself in an experience, and just sitting there, being in the moment and seeing all of the things that have happened and hearing things, it's a different type of respect for history and honoring the past that I think people maybe haven't been used to or exposed to. And it's a really great way to share what happened in a way.
And to do it in a real-time sort of first-hand experience, it's different reading it from a book, isn't it, as opposed to immersing yourself in some of these visualizers. Minnetrista always does it right, whatever it is, and we know that more here in our midst because we have it here all the time. We have our visitor here from out of town, but these presentations at Minnetrista and some other venues, there even might be some surprises that are being worked on. We don't want to drop anything on the radio if we're not supposed to about those sorts of things. But I don't know who's better to talk about the schedule of events. Sometimes when you come into town, you're going where you're told to go at the time. But who better to talk about the schedule of events? Bria, you or perhaps our special guest?
I think we can both talk about those events, and he can maybe expand on some of the moments that we'll share.
Sure.
Right after this interview, we're going to do a meet and greet with our staff. Okay. We felt it was really important to make sure that all of our staff had a moment to really talk to Joshua and to think about the exhibition and the visit as a whole before we're into the weekend. And then throughout the weekend, he'll be meeting with different schools, some nonprofit organizations, some kids groups.
Lunch and Learn, I'm really excited about. A lot of the nonprofit organizations, they're doing the hard work. They're in the community. They get an opportunity to take that break to come over and see this, that their jobs are allowing them. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to talk with them. Because look, this is inspirational work. I want to tell them a story about history, but I want to tell them what happened after the history is what we're doing now and what's really important to that work.
I'm looking at Saturday, March 14th. I say the date on this because sometimes people replay the video and audio, and we want to make sure they know exactly when this is going to be. Betty's Cabin Activity. This is Storytime Saturday with you, a free event, and this is, Bria, targeted at anybody 5 years of age and older, right?
Younger.
Younger.
Yes.
Please do bring an adult with you, though, 5-year-olds that are listening.
Yeah. So what's great about Betty's Cabin and Storytime is we actually have a Storytime Saturday every Saturday, where kids can come in and hear a story and do some sort of interactive play or activity. And so Joshua will be leading this one, and the United Way actually donated books. So the story that he's going to read, every kid gets to take one home.
Okay.
So that's a pretty exciting thing.
That's outstanding. Saturday, March 14th, I see an evening event. Joshua, perhaps you could tell us just a little bit of an overview of what that particular presentation will encompass.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what we really wanted to make sure that we had available was a chance for people to have a conversation. Less about me doing a big presentation, more about people being able to ask the questions and get to understand the story from a different perspective. Because like you said, you can read the books, you can watch the movies. The Till movie just came out. My good friend Keith Beauchamp worked with him to make that movie.
Wow.
It's a great movie, but it's not the same as having that conversation. And of course, Hollywood is Hollywood, so there's some little additions to it, but it's a really good story that I would say is about 95% true. We're going to have conversations that are 100% true for the public.
Got it. And that one, there's a cost $28. The first event that we mentioned, the Storytime, is a free event. There's another free community event on Sunday, March 15th. That's 1 to 3 p.m. Bria, maybe you want to cover that one for us?
Sure. And I actually have something else to jump in about History Bites. It is a brand new series at Minnetrista. And so every other month we'll have a new History Bites.
Okay.
And so we're really focusing on local history. And this is a special History Bites because it's Joshua Harris Till, because, Black history is American history.
Absolutely.
And so we want to make sure that is part of our Minnetrista story.
Okay, very good.
And then our free community event on Saturday, we also wanted to make sure there were no barriers for our community coming to these events. And so that one is a 2-hour long discussion it's really open-ended. We want audience members to be able to ask questions, and I think Joshua is really going to pivot his discussion based upon the needs of the group, and to be able to share those moments and really have, even though it's a group discussion, have one-on-one conversations in that group
I
setting.
see a Monday event too. This is called Nonprofit Lunch and Learn. It's free to get in. There's a lunch option available from the notes that I have. Joshua, from what you just shared, I assume, again, for the people that are in that room, you will guide the conversation to the recipients and who is in the room and what we're going to be sharing and talking about?
Absolutely. The story is the same, but how it affects people is always different. And so what people come into that room needing, what experiences they have, what experiences their organizations are going through, how they learn how to explain it to their children or to their communities. What I want to have really at the end of this weekend is for people to understand the story well enough to share it themselves.
Wow, that's very powerful. I love it. What are we forgetting, Bria? I see you getting ready. Go ahead.
A lot of our nonprofit leaders have signed up for that Lunch and Learn, and so it's so inspiring for us to see our community leaders come to listen and learn, and they're setting themselves up to be the best resource they have for the communities that we serve.
This is called Emmett Till, and the Let the World See exhibit is happening at Minnetrista Museum and Gardens right here in Muncie. We're on Delaware County Today from WMUN, and our special guests in the studio this morning to tell us all about it. Last words to you, Bria, and then we'll wrap up with Joshua. Anything that we haven't touched on that you would like for folks to know about all of this work?
Absolutely. We really want Minnetrista to be accessible for the community. Our memberships start at $45. We have a $5 Museums for All membership that gets you in for the year. We don't want money to be a financial barrier. We also have a really robust volunteer program, so if you're interested in giving back and doing more, you can find ways to connect and volunteer with Minnetrista too.
Fantastic. Well said. Last words to you, Joshua Harris Till.
Look, Steve, first of all, thank you again. It's
Very
amazing to be
pleased.
here,
My
Bria. I got the opportunity to meet her. I'm excited about this opportunity. Look, you have to come. If you're not coming for me, that's okay, but you have to come to the exhibit while it's there. It's $5 for the year right now. It's $45 for a membership. That's worth the investment. Our museums are where we're able to learn our history, so we don't have to repeat the worst parts of it. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited. If you're listening right now, you should come. You should be there because you want to learn something good.
Fantastic. Welcome again to Muncie, Indiana, USA. We're very proud to have you in our midst. Bria, nice to see you as well, and thanks for the great work that happens at Minnetrista Museum and Gardens every day. We'll continue with more in a moment. This is Delaware County Today on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Gary Dick. Closed home sales and new pending sales increased sharply from January to February, with mortgage rates dipping below 6% for the first time in more than 3 years. The Indiana Association of Realtors says February closings jumped 17% month over month, while pending contracts increased 10% statewide. Homes sold for a statewide median of $260,000, up 4% from January. Fort Wayne-based Vera Bradley has announced Ian Bickley as the company's new chairman and CEO. Bickley has been a member of the Vera Bradley Board of Directors since November of 2024 and served as the company's executive chairman and board chair since last June, following the departure of former CEO Jackie Ardrey. He previously served as president of the International Group for Coach. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar. Because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com. Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar. Because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com.
Business and economic development drives the 765. That's why WMUN News Radio created the website and the weekly radio show called 765businessjournal.com, Mondays from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Hosted by longtime Muncie resident and former broadcaster Lefay Pagese. Sponsored by IU Health, Town of Yorktown, MIPS, Ivy Tech Community College Muncie, Minnetrista, YMCA of Muncie. If you have tips or questions about business and economic development, email WMUN@woofboom.com. That's WMUN@woofboom.com. You can also call and leave a voice message at 289-6397. FM, AM, and Alexa. Live daily on demand at WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Steve Lindell on Delaware County Today. Presented by Muncie Community School.
Thank you, Tom Campbell, the voice of WMUN and the voice of all of our sports coverage, too. We got a lot of it, Kurt Darling. You're a busy, busy dude.
Not as busy as last week, but certainly busy nonetheless.
Let's start with, we're going to get to high school plans. We got a lot of that on all of our Woof Boom stations, radio and TV. We've got women's basketball, of course, to talk about. But let me jump to the big thing in the MAC men last night. Down goes Miami of Ohio.
I tell you what, Steve, it's one of those things where, of course, covering Ball State, you don't root for the other MAC teams, but at the same time, the country is probably in one of those positions where everybody's rooting for Miami because of the incredible regular season that they had. Yeah. They lose to UMass earlier this week, and that is going to basically throw a huge monkey wrench into the selection process for the NCAA tournament. And so I'm sure your next question is...
It is. Are they going to get in or not? What do you think?
They're going to get in, and here is why they're going to get in.
All right.
It's not because of metrics, even though the metrics say that they should be in. It's not because of whatever wins or losses or computer algorithms. Here's the thing.
All right.
As an Indiana State alum, we went through this 2 years ago. Okay, Indiana State had this.
Not that you're bitter.
Yeah, no, trust me, I'm still bitter. They had this miraculous season. They met all the criteria to make the NCAA tournament, and they were let out. Then they were left out for a mediocre Virginia team that got beat by 40 in the first round. Okay. The NCAA...
Are there memories strong enough to have good intel on that outcome?
No, I don't know about
the committee,
intel.
I mean.
I don't know about intel, but bottom line is this. The NCAA Tournament Selection Committee caught a bunch of flack for that from all over the country. They're not going to want to go through that again, especially for a team that went 30-0 during the regular season.
Here's another thing,
and
too.
So,
is there another tournament to go to? Was it the CIT or whatever that one?
Well, there's the NIT, which Indiana State went to in the championship of that tournament that year, of course, and so that kind of proved all the doubters wrong. But Miami will get in because if they don't, then the tournament selection committee is going to catch a whole lot of flack for it.
Aside from the NIT, there's that third level of tournament, and I forget the name of that one. John Herrick reported yesterday.
Well, there's the CBI that's no longer going to be doing it this year.
That's what I meant. Okay, now let's jump to high school because that's what everybody cares about here in Hoosierville. So who do we have on our Woof Boom radio stations, Kurt?
So Delta is taking on Fort Wayne Blackhawk again. This is a rematch from last year in this very same game where Delta won by 2 points. So it's going to be a heck of a ball game. You can catch that game over on our sister station, 96.7, 102.9 Blake FM, 12:15 pregame with 1 o'clock tip-off. You can also catch the video stream as well at ihsatv.org/woofboom. And then we will not have coverage of this game, but we will certainly be making note of it. Monroe Central is taking on Southwood in the 1A regional at LaPel. And so that's going to be a really good matchup, 6 versus 7 in Class Class 1A. Southwood's won 22 games this season. It's going to be a really good test for the Golden Bears.
All right, now let's move on to the Ball State situation. The Ball State women have a chance to win and advance to the Saturday championship. That's a today WMUN thing.
That's right. So they will be taking on Toledo today, and this is, of course, going to be a juggling act for us on WMUN because we have the Ball State women starting at 12 o'clock today, but then we have Ball State baseball at 2:45 today, and so we will be seeing if we're going to be cutting into some baseball coverage right there. But either way, the Ball State women are doing something great, and they have a chance to punch their ticket to the MAC championship.
Shebeck Stadium doesn't blow away, hopefully. Boy, it's windy out there, and automatic pool coverage makes it all possible here. So that's the women's situation. Let's talk a little bit more about the baseball. They have the home series, as you mentioned, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Eastern Michigan going to be the foe here this weekend, and so Ball State got off to a really good start in MAC play against Central Michigan, winning 2 of 3 last weekend, and so hopefully they can get the series sweep this weekend against Eastern Michigan to at least keep things rolling in MAC play after a tough outing at Kentucky on Tuesday. Right. So either way, it'll be a 2:45 pregame start for that game, hopefully, and then a 3 o'clock first pitch, and then 1 o'clock first pitches on Saturday and Sunday.
Kirk Darling, Wolf Boom Sports Director, busy and a lot of help in the background and the foreground. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Steve.
From Studio B, let's go to our next item today, a snapshot of our day today.
It's March 13th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Good Samaritan Day, where we take a moment to recognize the unselfish actions of everyday people who perform acts of kindness towards a stranger without the desire of any type of reward. So if you see someone who needs help, try to give them a hand, whether it's helping someone change a tire on the side of the road, carrying groceries to a person's front door, or helping an old person cross a busy street. No act of kindness is too big or small. Also on this date, in 2013, Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina is elected the new pope, taking the name Francis. And in 2019, the Jackson, Mississippi home of civil rights activists Medgar and Merle Evers is established as a national monument. If it's your birthday today, you share it with actor William H. Macy, born in 1950, and former NFL quarterback Trent Dilfer, born in 1972. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN, home of Fox News Radio, updates right around the top of the hour, weekdays and weekends, because news happens all the time, and it is a very busy world indeed. All right, next item, let's go racing.
Fox in the Fast Lane.
Team Penske had itself a weekend in the Valley of the Sun.
To complete the weekend sweep for the most admired man in American motorsports, Ryan Blaney wins for Ford and Roger Penske.
Good job. That was courtesy of FS1 as Ryan Blaney won the Straight Talk Wireless 500. One day earlier, Joseph Newgarden won the IndyCar race at Phoenix Raceway. On the same weekend, Team Penske kicked off a season-long celebration of its 60th year in motorsports. Blaney, the 2023 Cup Series champion, sat at the rear of the field twice early on in the race, but rallied to take the lead for good with 10 laps to go. It was Blaney's second victory at Phoenix and the 18th of his career. Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, and Denny Hamlin rounded out the top 5. The Cup Series now makes the 300-mile trip to Sin City for the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Sunday. For Fox in the Fast Lane, I'm Joe Morgan, Fox News.
On WMUN, hello, Coffee with Billers. Lots of mystery guests for you. Now, the turning of the green, but apparently they've not heard that Indy does this too.
Fox Facts.
Every March, typically on the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, one American city flips a switch and turns a river bright green. And it all started as a plumbing experiment. In 1962, members of the Chicago Journeyman Plumbers Local 130 were trying to track illegal sewage leaks into the Chicago River. They used a harmless fluorescent dye that glowed green to trace where the water was flowing. Someone realized the color looked perfect for St. Patrick's Day. So the plumbers worked with the city to pour in a vegetable-based dye, and the river turned a vivid emerald shade within minutes. Spectators line bridges and river walks every year to watch the transformation, which happens in the morning before the big parade. Back then, it stayed green for nearly a week, but today the formula is more controlled and the color only lasts a few hours. What began as a practical test became one of the country's most famous holiday traditions. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
Yeah, Matt, Indianapolis did that too. They're not the only city that does that, just saying. The Grand Poobah of Yorktown is one of the guests. Creek Cook, let's see here, stand by. Rob Kiesling, he's the power guy that's responsible for Tillotson and Muncie. All of these and more. Recovery Cafe has Abby Carpenter speaking at the Coffee with Bill event. That is coming up minutes and moments in town here. Justin Peckinpah and Jackson Jacoby responsible for the work in the Axia Command Center. I'm Steve Lindell. Have a great weekend. This is Delaware County Today, weekdays 8 to 9 a.m. on WMUN.